It is Pals Pulls time. You know what that means. The gang is all here. We have Cale,
What's up? Hot dogs.
Marco,
Pew, 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 pew.
Tyler,
I have less energy. Hi. How's it going?
and I'm Sean, welcoming you to this week's edition of Pals Pulls, the last week of May. And Marvel decided to put it all out there. We have
Pound them?
five of this week's biggest releases, and four of them are Marvel books. So we have Ultimate Spider-Man number 5. We have Wolverine number 50, the oversized finale issue. We have Fall of the House of X number 5, which is closing out that book as well. Avengers Twilight number 6, also closing out this series. And that is, of course, the listener pick poll winner. And then finally, this week, we have the Six Fingers number 4, the penultimate, I believe, issue of that series as well. Thank you for hanging out with us, whether you are with us live or in the future. Appreciate you jumping on board. Let's get right into it and talk about Ultimate Spider-Man number 5. So this is by writer Jonathan Hickman with guest artist. Yes, this is the second issue in a row with a guest artist, David Messina. Corey Pettit on the letters, Joe Sabino, or I'm sorry, wait, okay. They're both credited as letterer. I don't know. And Matt Wilson on the colors. So this issue is really the origin of Harry and the Green Goblin, and seeing how he went from being, just the son of Norman, and a young upstart trying to find his place in the world and getting out of his father's shadow, to having to step into the forefront of not only, the company Oscorp, but also uh the Green Goblin legacy, which, not that we know that there is any sort of connection to that at Norman, but the general idea of the legacy of that dynamic. So, what did you guys make of this one?
A bit of a bummer not to see Chichetto again. Um, that is nothing against David Messina. I actually like the art in this. But I come into this, I'm thinking, oh, it's Chichetto, right? It's got Chichetto on the cover. So I was like, oh, went out of my sales initially. But as I kept reading it, I actually started to really like this. Um, the whole Osborn family dynamic is one of my favorite dynamics in comics. And to see the familiar aspects of that dynamic here and the slight adjustments that feel like can be a butterfly effect situation for this Ultimate Universe, I found to be really interesting. I thought there was a lot of good world building from Hickman in this issue that I really enjoyed.
Hmm. I like that there were consequences from the initial action. Like that explosion led to so much disruption, and you can feel that permeate to what you're saying, Tyler. And for me, the thing that really signified it was when Kingpin comes a calling, and it's like, oh, hold on a second. It's cool that you inherit the business, but there's also the aspects of it that maybe you weren't privy to, and it's a reminder that these characters exist throughout this world as well, and how they still have their machinations. So it was a fun it was fun to run into Kingpin in that way, and to see them interact with the rest of the Stark stuff.
Yeah, it was cool to see Kingpin sort of reference the bigger world,
Mm.
and how Stain and Stark leaving that void sort of leaves him in charge. I thought that was a really interesting dynamic. Um, I'm starting to feel the wear on this one a little bit, on this Ultimate series. I would love to get something going.
Mm.
Do you think the 1 month an issue hampers it?
I have no doubt that this would read and trade really well. because all of the conversation is truly like very good uh locomotive moving dialogue, dialogue that moves. um but I could stand to see somebody punch somebody again.
It took its time. It's taking its time, and I like that. I like that Hickman has been like it was all gas for the first couple issues, and now we're sitting in things. Like I don't mind that, but I feel what you mean, Kale. Like uh, as much as this was background and this was context, I would have liked it to have ended with, yeah, I think a punch thrown, or what is the next step after this? Because this also didn't necessarily feel like it ended, at least for me, on a cliffhanger either. Like, yes, we have an interrogation going on, and we're gonna get information from that, but I didn't feel the pull into the next issue as much as I have in previous issues.
I feel like episode 5 of like an 8-episode season, where it's like, all right,
Right in the middle.
yeah, we just got to get some exposition going on. It's not saying it's not good, but something is coming that we can see.
Yeah.
I really liked the first 3 pages that establish the relationship that Harry actually had with his dad. That was a question mark that this book answers. But this is issue 5 of 6 of the first arc. 2 of the first 6 issues have a fill-in artist. 2 of the first 6 issues do not focus on Peter, and I am getting tired of this. This issue isn't bad. There's nothing like functionally wrong with it, but we're seeing the other side of the Shocker encounter from a few issues ago. We're seeing that Harry was there and he ends up punking out the Shocker, which I truly don't care about. I don't need 2 Shocker appearances in the first 6 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. And all the legwork that Hickman has done as far as setting up really interesting things as far as like who's going to die, what is the sacrifice going to be that makes all this real and takes it out of the realm of just people playing costume. All that legwork, the stuff with Uncle Ben and Jonah, all that shit is like, where is it? Where are those characters? Where are Jonah and Ben and MJ and the kids? Come on, man. We just read an issue of Peter and the couples having drinks. This issue shows us Harry and Peter drinking again. How many times do we need to see the same fucking shit?
And drinking before the last issue. Like that flashback was what happened before the last issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no, man, come on. And I disagree that this book was all gas for the first couple issues. This book has never been all gas. It's gassing out. Like something has to give. You cannot keep doing this. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that they had to bring in, fill-ins for 2 issues. But at this point in my life, if you can't do 6 issues straight of comics, then maybe you shouldn't be doing monthly comics. Sorry.
Dang.
6 issues straight, that's just one arc. You couldn't even do 5 out of 6. This isn't going to read great in trade because you got a different fucking artist. What are we doing?
I think the dialogue will, but
Sure.
the art.
I mean,
yeah,
and also I think
that.
this issue can also sit outside of. It could be placed in anywhere. Like.
But that's not good either.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying like it almost feels like, all right, where's that one I had written already? Can we get an artist that can do it quickly? Because somebody's either I don't know where the delay is in the Chichetto stuff. I don't know if that's his art or not getting like we don't know where the delineation of workload goes. But this does feel like an issue that could have been slid in anywhere. I think it brings up some really interesting bits, like the whole idea that is it Tony Stark? I'm forgetting which Stark it is, but the one who's gifting everyone the things they lost.
Yeah, that's Tony.
It's
Yeah.
Tony. Okay, and oh yeah, he's just younger in this world. That's what I'm thinking of. And the fact that there's a lot of those being given out now, and like those are starting to come in, so this world is starting to be quickly armed with superheroes. And the idea that Shocker was one of them that was gifted, but I guess the real Herman Schultz had a heart attack before he could even open the box, or that gave him a heart attack. So I like that. I like how this world is relatively. I mean, it's superhero world, but it's more normal than the 616. But now it's getting injected with all of this. You know, spider people with gauntlets that can shoot shit, Iron Man suits. So like there is a powder keg waiting to be exploded, and I like that. But
I think why are we seeing that here?
that's where my butt is.
Yeah.
It's good. That could be anywhere. There's a whole Peter Parker of this all that we're not even addressing.
We didn't see him in this issue, right? So like, I mean, outside of the flashback, there wasn't forward progression there, and I think
For
to
him,
that
no,
point,
yeah.
for him, right? Yeah, and I think to that point, you could have intertwined those things, right? Oh, he's discovering it alongside us. Like that could have been the thing. Like here's my, maybe it doesn't have to be expository, but it could be, you know, context for Harry, and at the same time, you're learning this alongside him.
Yeah, I'm still intrigued by the fact that there are going to be some L's that get taken. This issue made me feel like Gwen's probably going to die, to set Harry over the edge, because clearly these two are going to be antagonists. Harry and Peter I don't see them staying friends
Mm.
after whatever goes down in the next issue. And, I'm with that, and that's cool. And that, I guess, necessitates that we see some of these things. But whatever happened to, just seeding stuff throughout? Why did we need an entire issue of this? The first 3 pages of this issue are great, and we need them. They're meaningful context.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff is just like, whatever. Like, okay, that happened. I don't give a fuck about how Shocker got his gauntlet. I don't care that Harry took him down. I don't care how Harry found the Iron Man suits. I truly don't care about any of that. And I feel like you can show those things across the comics and not do it all in one issue, because all in one issue, it just annihilates the propulsion that this series had. And it really couldn't afford that after the last one. I gave it grace for the last one because I thought the dialogue was awesome, but we're doing it again. That's not cool to me.
Yeah. Jedi Ty says, I like this issue, but I think it would have worked better as an issue 7. Post first arc to provide context. Absolutely.
How would you guys feel if this was teased out in like, an added value kind of backup, like a mini story?
I think we're all anti-backup on the show.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Go ahead.
Please.
I would have been fine with that because it's relevant. A lot of the time, backups are just irrelevant. This is key, bits. I don't think you needed to do a backup. I think you could just put some of this stuff across the other issues.
Yeah.
But anything other than a $4.99 issue that is pure flashback, when the meat of what we are here for is being sidelined still.
It still is the word, right? Like if we had gotten teased like a bigger propulsion in issue 4, that would reason for this, fine. But it feels like a stopgap.
But yeah, even still, that's an issue 7.
Sure. Yeah.
That a massive cliffhanger for issue 6 that necessitates this flashback, or forward, or this focus on Harry specifically, providing context to everything, I think would be interesting. But we haven't spent enough time with the guy on the cover.
Yeah, I want to follow Peter's journey. I want to see him enjoying being Spider-Man. I want to see him with his kids and stuff. If this is about to get real in the next issue, if that's the idea, that issue 6 is going to make all this real to everybody involved, Have we actually spent enough time with Peter and family? I don't think so.
Well, my worry is that it getting real is just going to be Harry turning. Maybe we'll lose Gwen, and that'll cause Harry to turn, but that relationship between Harry and Peter will sever. And like, I'm not invested enough in that to care. That's not a good enough drop for me.
They just met.
Yeah.
They need to tease that Harry stuff out longer.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, back in May, April, 2 months. What?
These things that this book is playing off of, the echoes from 616, these character dynamics and stuff, I feel like it's relying too much on the fact that we already know who they are, but this is a new world. I truly don't give a damn about the relationship between Peter and Harry. It's non-existent. I don't care about Gwen. I don't care about Mary Jane. These are relationships that unfolded over the course of literal years. Human, real years, dozens of comic books. It wasn't microwaved to give you the resolution to a conflict over the course of 6 issues. That's just not how it unfolded in real time.
Even the bit where Harry's talking to Peter and he says, what did it feel like when you first put the costume on? And Peter's just like, oh, I knew I needed to be, like, it just clicked in me. It's like, all right, that seems like a shortcut. That, like, you just needed to be a hero, which I understand. I guess you kind of need shortcuts for what they're trying to do with the Ultimate Universe. But it's not like you didn't have a whole Ultimate Universe already before that.
The Messina art is definitely strong. I don't think that, like, I'm upset that Chichetto's not on this because that's what it was predicated on and sold on, that we would have Hickman and Chichetto on this, not just Hickman and Chichetto for a few issues. And Marvel really, really has to do a better job of this. They cannot keep letting this shit happen. But that being said, I think Messina's doing very serviceable work. I liked his Kingpin. He's this big like mountain man, which was cool. The explosion early on that shows the destruction of, the death of Norman and everybody else that died in that situation. That's all cool. I don't really feel, though, like there's much standout from a visual standpoint here because we've spent 2 issues straight just sort of talking. So what do we really even have to highlight from a visual standpoint?
I mean, I don't think anything innovative was done in this issue. Like, we're getting standard panels, maybe 5 per page. Things are progressing easily. It's a very structured series of pages.
I was kind of bummed to see Norman not have the cornrows.
But I do want to praise the book a little bit. I know I talked about the opening 3 pages, but man, the way that Norman speaks to Harry, it's just like, if you've got a parent in your life or whatever who you really, really care about and you're seeking their approval, getting cut down like this, you can imagine how Harry must feel. And then to top it off, this is their very last conversation. Norman is now dead, and the last thing that he said to Harry was essentially, "You're a disappointment to me." This is directly from the book. So, quote, this is from Norman. "It's a great name. It means something. Harry, do you know what my favorite memory of you is?" Harry replies, "Yeah, that time we played catch." And Norman interrupts, "No, that's you, the little boy talking. And that memory, it's the memory of a child. My favorite memory of you is the day you finally started acting like a man, like an Osborn. The problem is, it hasn't happened yet. We're all waiting for you, Harry. How long are you going to make us wait? How much longer am I going to..." And then boom.
Yo, chill out, Tommy Lee Jones.
That's the kind of conversation that you see like your white friend's dad have in front of you, I've seen that. I've been on that side of that.
I've seen it. Not a white friend, but I've seen it. It's harsh, and it makes me wish that Norman wasn't dead, because I would like to see their relationship more than this. Um, but I don't know that we're gonna get swerved on that. I think he might just be gone for good.
In my eyes, if you don't see a body, that doesn't mean they're dead.
It clearly missed.
We'll see. Um, I I still say pull. You know, the dialogue is good, the art is solid, but I just don't. This isn't the book for the deep world building. This is the book for Spider-Man. The building book, as far as I'm concerned, is Ultimates, and this should be a lot lower to the ground. And we just don't have all this time to waste. I know Hickman is probably on this for like 12 issues, and then he's going to be gone. And two of those issues have been, I don't want to say wasted because that's a little bit much, but they just haven't been utilized to the maximum.
I don't know that this isn't the book for world building as much as it shouldn't be meandering. Like I like the things that get brought up here and get fleshed out, and the if that gets explored elsewhere, cool. Then that helps to tie the books in together. Um, but it needs to be more direct in point A to point B because I don't know where ultimately it's leading to.
Like, there's no real. I mean, outside of Kingpin, there's no real conflict that's coming to a head. Like, the final issue of the arc is next week, and I guess it's gonna be Kingpin that they face off against. Like, I mean, that's on the cover, so I would assume so. But these covers have not been the most trustworthy so far. But it's kind of a quiet way to start this whole run. And I don't want to say I don't like it, because I do like it. Like, this is a pull for me still. But it's not what I expected.
Yeah, pull. I'm certainly willing to give Hickman, an arc. Happily give him an arc, but and after issue 6, like I'll probably wait out the trade.
Pull, pull. I've been having fun. I want more Hickman. I think this was a weaker issue in comparison to the stuff that I've been getting. I've loved every issue so far, and I think he just needs to get back onto a better rhythm, and I think that'll happen next issue when we're not talking about the past.
Set some comments. You guys are active in the chat. I'd love to see that. Very interested in discussing Ultimate Spider-Man. Hopefully you feel that way about the rest of the books on the docket. Let's see. Joe says, if Peach can write and be the artist and covers for the first arc, then there isn't anything that will convince me that this arc should be, I assume you mean anything other than flawless and consistent. I mean, hey, I don't disagree. Peach Momoko is doing a ton of work
Mm.
over in her neck of the woods. We haven't had to fill in anything. I'm sort of, kind of, truthfully tired of this. And if you can't do the monthly grind, why are you working in monthly comics? That's just how I feel.
I don't think anyone's really solved the problem of monthly comics. I mean, it's that or the occasional trade, but that's not consistent work. So it's tricky.
You can't even do 6 issues in a row.
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I probably could, but it wouldn't be good.
And it comes down to like the scheduling of it, right? Like if you know that this is a thing that's happening, like obviously they have this written out. Surely Hickman has all of this planned out, so schedule it better, time it better.
Like, Ultimate Invasion was last year, right? It started in June, I believe, of last year, June or July. So we're almost a year, and like, we knew this was coming. Like, at least Marvel knew this was coming. So working with enough headway to be able to at least get a full team on your first arc seems like a no-brainer.
October.
It's happening
Okay.
everywhere else. It's happening everywhere else. Like, I'm not giving excuses. It's 6 issues. We're 5 deep, and 2 of them have not been drawn by the main artist. That's crazy. That shouldn't be acceptable.
I have one here from
And,
Philosopher.
sorry, Marco, quickly,
Mm-mm-mm.
can I add to that? I don't know that I blame Chichetto for that, at least blindly. I'm very happy laying the blame on Marvel for that. You know, 6 issues is hard work, and especially at Chichetto's detail level. Um, like like we've said, we knew about this a year ago, but Chichetto also just came off of Daredevil, which is another,
Hmm.
beast of a book. So I don't know.
Was that consistent?
Yeah, I think so.
No, because we
Okay.
already know that Chip Zdarsky was having to draw for multiple artists at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Like what was the event book he did?
Devil's Reign.
Devil's Reign. That was all him. He at least did that, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Trying to find patterns here.
James Jones, Sean, please don't curse it. Hickman will be on for 50 issues. Believe? No, I do not believe.
Is that copium? Is that what they call it? Copium?
Comics are dope. Just wishing I was a comics pal again. Stupid responsibilities, dude. You are literally always welcome. And by the way, you guys should absolutely check out the Comics Are Dope YouTube channel. Put out a great interview. I think it just went up today. And then of course the weekly his version of looking ahead at the books that are coming out this week that his audience seems to love. So you guys should definitely check out that channel. Also, check us out. Check us out all over the place. We've got a lot going on. We are about to hit June, and June is going to be a very busy month for us. We are rocketing towards our 400th episode, which we are very excited about. We've got a lot of announcements coming this Saturday regarding that. And so you're not going to want to miss out. In fact, because it's this Saturday, I do have to say, we're going to be doing giveaways all month. The entire month of June, we're doing giveaways. So this Saturday is going to kick that off. It's also kicking off X-Men month. So make sure that you guys leave us a nomination for whatever book you think we should read for the X-Men book club. You can do that on patreon.com/thecomicspals for free. You do not have to pay a dollar or cent to be able to nominate a book. You can do it on our Discord server, and you can do it in the youtube.com/thecomicspals community tab. You leave a comment there with the book that you want us to cover for X-Men month, and it might win. The 4 most nominated books are going to make it to the poll over on Patreon, and the winning book will be the subject of our next book club. The same way that The Devil in Cell Block D was the subject of our book club from this past Tuesday. We had a great conversation there about that book from Ed Brubaker and Michael Lark, the first arc of their Daredevil run. It was stellar, and I think we had a pretty good conversation. So if you haven't checked that out, run those numbers up. Like this video if you are enjoying what we're doing. Every like helps. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. I almost wanted to say to 1,000 subscribers because of
Muscle memory.
how much time we were in that position. But we've come a long way, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Let's get into Wolverine number 50. This is the finale of the book, but it's also the finale of the Sabretooth War arc that has been pretty good, I want to say. Benjamin Percy and Victor Laval handling duties on the main story. Larry Hama actually joins them on a backup. Corey Pettit on the letters. Daniel Picciotto on art. Jeff Shaw on art. Javier Hernandez on art. Colors by Alex Sinclair. This has been the ultimate Wolverine versus Sabretooth story, where Sabretooth has had, a bunch of multiversal versions of himself that he has essentially enslaved and made join him to take down Krakoa, to get into some mutant killing and take down Krakoa and take down Wolverine and exact revenge. He's killed Wolverine's son, killed his friends. He's Sabretooth has done a lot. And so in this finale, it's these two, tooth, claw, sword, armor. It's a bloody war. And I thought it was awesome. I think that this is one of the few series that's ending on a really high note. I think it's got great art that does a good job of showcasing, the violence of these two men and just what they're capable of and what they want to do to each other. And they get into that. They do a lot. You want to talk about Red Band. This
Yo.
You don't even need Red Band. This is Red Band. The way they were chopping each other up.
That missing arm just going out all of a sudden, and then how he ends up. Damn, bro. Slice and dice.
Yep.
Slice and dice. Slice and dice. The I like the direction it was heading with Sabretooth bringing him back to the Quiet Council and how that was going to sort of pull him under. I thought that would be a cool. I had this not been the ending of these runs, that would have been a cool sort of arc for him. That he gets his he gets his final laugh. Sabretooth brings him down and gets defeated somehow, but now Wolverine's stuck in that version of hell and has to fight his way back up. That might be cool. But I like then the sort of rescue, right? The team, the rally. It was a nice, fun. It was just fun and upbeat, and I like that in a Wolverine book. The violence helps quite a bit, just in terms of getting that high octane energy.
This only further solidifies my question on why Wolverine #1 needs a red band version coming out with Capullo. But I was fine. I was a little. I had to get caught up because I only read the opening 2 issues of this crossover, and there's a lot of issues because it crossed over with Sabretooth as well, from what I remember. So there's a good amount of steps that I missed. But once we got to the part where the plot kind of resolves already, and it's really just Wolverine and Sabretooth fighting in the Krakosi, which is kind of it's a rhyme. It's what George Lucas always liked. It's a rhyme of the beginning of House of Powers. Yeah, it's poetry. And I thought that was a good bit. And that one double page spread where it's just Berserker Rage red, and then there's that one full page where it's like just little tiny cubes of panels.
Yeah.
This is just like, if you want Wolverine versus Sabretooth, you get it in this book. So I thought it was really good. I mean, Percy is the only one who has been on it from the beginning. Like he's outlasted his entire Krakoan stay, really. And I thought it was a nice little cap to Wolverine's stay on Krakoa. And then the backup with the Javier Fernandez art, the last one, phenomenal. But I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Wolverine gets some cool armor, and I enjoyed that. The only thing I didn't like was they introduced the idea that Sabretooth had taken Wolverine's powers from him, which is something that has simply happened too many times across the end of Krakoa, where someone can all of a sudden just take the powers away of a mutant. Like, why? Like, if that's so widely available, why didn't they just do that to Krakoa itself and then bomb everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they used Leech's ability to take Laura's powers away in an earlier issue. Well, where's this been at? If Orcus could do that, why haven't they been doing that? That was a little ridiculous. And then he gets his powers back because of something that Forge had implanted in the suit or whatever. that was really silly too. I don't think that it served to do all that. It was just a reason to get Wolverine in the sick ass costume, which I'm cool with. But I think you could have done it another way, especially because they took powers away twice in the same arc from two different characters.
And the whole Forge bit is in an editorial caption, like, "Oh, look into this issue to see how it happened." But in the issue itself, it really feels like a Deus Ex Men Machina that I didn't care much for.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was good. It really felt like a last issue. Like it really felt like a all right, let's we're wrapping all this up.
Put away your
Um,
toys.
Yeah.
I frankly had a lot more fun with the backups. Um, it it gave me a semblance of this might be the new norm moving forward, and I didn't mind it. The first Mutants on the Edge of Town, that first Larry Hama story, I had a blast. Man, yo, Jubilee kind of just like doing shit. Lots of fun. Being able to be in a small town that feels very Wolverine-esque. He just strolls into town, cowboy, has to
Western, yeah.
deal with a thing. Yeah, it feels westerny, and I enjoyed that. And then you get a Sentinel, and they just got to fight a Sentinel for no reason, and cool. All right, done, easy.
Classic Sentinel too, the one who just
Yeah.
looks like 5 parts.
I really like the last backup.
Yeah. I like that one a lot
The
better.
Javier Fernandez art is phenomenal in that.
Yeah, Javi always delivers, and just a trip down memory lane with Wolverine, showcasing various, awful situations. It showcases a lot of his villains and just things that he's been through that are awful. And there's a particular panel that shows Wolverine, Jean, and Cyclops sitting together. And the caption says, "Pain leaves a residue, but so does love."
Mm.
Yeah, it
Tell
leaves
me
residue.
they're not in a throuple. Say it again, Tom.
Let's see. Who was the editor on this? Probably Jordan White, if I had to guess. But yeah, Jordan White was the editor. So maybe Tom didn't get the memo.
Also, just to speak on that part of it, the fact that Quentin Quire's dead at the end of this, and Oye is part of the Exiles, and they even explicitly say the Exiles are going to do their own thing. Meanwhile, those two characters are going to be in the next X-Men book. Further proof that like the one hand is not talking to the 6 fingers. Oh wait, wrong
Oops.
thing.
Well, we've still got X-Men 35 to go, which I presume is going to sew up a lot of this stuff. And I want to save a larger conversation about all of that. But needless to say, there is absolutely nothing here in this issue that seems to necessitate the end of Krakoa, which has been a consistent problem amongst these books. It's like, why does Krakoa have to end? But as far as this issue is concerned, I think generally this was a home run. Wolverine is not a series that I expected much from when it started, not because of the creative team. I didn't know Benjamin Percy, really. But I would say that pretty much everything he's touched has at the very least been solid. And you can tell from this issue and the run that he really does care about Wolverine. And, he put his whole ass into this. Like, what more can you ask for? Like, he really tried to deliver on something compelling for the character. And I appreciate that. I appreciate what he did here and on X-Force.
I mean, he still has Helverine that he's writing, so he's not even fully gone with this whole side of the Marvel universe.
Pull.
Yeah. Pull.
Yep. Pull.
Wrap this shit up.
Yeah, is it $4.99? What was this book? What did I pay for this?
This was $8.
Oh, it's two $4.99. Okay. Oh, maybe don't pull. Ah, no, pull. It's pull. It's a good quality book.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be happy paying $8 for it, but I'm not happy Sean paid $8 for it, especially for a Jubilee story. But you know,
Is that Jubilee hate?
yeah,
Damn.
100%. I hate Jubilee.
What?
Wow.
Jubilee is
Day one since
One of-
1992.
one of the most hated X-Men that there is. Probably top 5 most hated.
And if 100 people hate her, I am one of 100. If 10 people hate her, I am one of 10. If one person hates her, it's me.
That's Cale, one of one. Izzy's issue says, also, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being the best company I could ask for while packing up my dorm room. Well, thank you for choosing us to be your company, Izzy. Appreciate that. And congratulations.
Oh yeah, congrats.
Mhm.
Congratulations
Man.
and happy belated birthday. Joe says the way Benjamin Percy writes with the cool and badass moments, he could do really good in the Hulk, then move PKJ to Guardians of the Galaxy because his War World saga was great.
Ooh.
I think you're 2 for 2. I think Percy on Hulk makes a lot of
Mm.
sense, and I think that between this and his Ghost Rider work, I think it justifies giving him a shot on the Hulk. And then you talk about Guardians, they could use a shot in the arm, and PKJ is, I mean, he's the guy to do that, I think.
Consistent.
And Jordan D. White's going to be editing the Hulk line going forward. Hulk and Venom. So I wonder if he can pull over Percy for some work there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love that. I would
Sean-
absolutely love that.
Did you pick up the Frank Miller variant for this one?
Oh, absolutely fucking not.
It's
And
a
why
it-
would you?
he's doing Wolverine again, and I know there was a whole bit on the last one that he did, but there's something about this one that I find really endearing, and I don't know what it is.
Is it that it looks like I drew it?
Maybe there's something to it. I like that his knee also has his costume on it.
Yeah, I don't want to speak ill of Frank. I love that he's getting work, and I know that there are a lot of people who love these, so I'm not going to say anything else about it. Hats off to Frank Miller. Frenelation said, already liked and shared to X as soon as I tuned in. Hey, thank you so much. Frenelations is one of the MVPs. I love that. I love when you
Always share.
guys share it out and, you know, sing our praises if you feel we're worthy of them. The way you guys show love keeps us going. And I hope that, you know, we can get even more in on the love showing as we get into June, because we're going to be showing you guys a lot of love in June. Trust me. The things we have planned, forget it.
Or if you're gonna show hate, at least include a link so that people can come see what you hate. You know.
Oh, geez. After how March was, I don't even know
Right.
if I want to court that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. It's time for the one that everybody's waiting for. It's time to talk about the fall of the House of X, number 5.
Nope.
No, I'm sorry. Rise of the Powers of X, number 5.
Rise of the fall of the.
Well, what the fuck, dude? Look at this cover.
Yep.
You got to read the boob shaped one. Circle. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh boy. This is Kieran Gillen with art by Luciano Vecchio, letters by Clayton Cowles, colors by David Curiel. Shame we couldn't get RB Silva on this deal. But, you know, what are you going to do? This is the wrap up. It's Phoenix is back. Phoenix and Jean are one again, and they're going to tear it up. They're going to stop Mr. Sinister. I don't know if any of you guys here on the panel or listening will know what I'm referencing, but I could not allow myself to not bring this up. If you have ever played the very old video game, it may have even been on Atari, I don't know. It's extremely old. I played it on the OG PlayStation. It is called Sinistar. And it features a character that looks very similar-ish in terms of the overall design to the way Enigma looks in this specific panel. Specifically the thing that's around him.
Oh yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Wow.
know if that was something that Gillen was going for, but it's what it made me think of, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow.
I thought of what's his face, the villain from the original Star Fox game,
Andros. That's what I
Andros.
thought.
That's
Sure.
what I was seeing in my head. But yeah, not too far off.
Andros.
Yeah, you're
And
100% right. That's Atari 5200, released
There you
in
go.
1983.
Jesus.
yeah, so maybe Kieran got his hands on that when he was a young
Yeah.
lad.
Back when X-Men comics were good.
And so this issue largely is two stories. It's the Phoenix versus Enigma chase across time and space and out of time and out of space as he tries to prevent Jean from becoming the Phoenix, and she has to stop him at various points. And then you have Professor Xavier speaking with Moira and trying to convince her to do the right thing. So there's a lot on the line. I have seen a lot of mixed thoughts on this issue, like a lot of mixed thoughts. And I'm really curious what you guys think of really the last thing we're getting before 35, which feels like it's going to be a celebration and include a lot of different creators and different things. Where are you guys at as far as this being sort of the wrap of the Krakoan era?
Will 35 be the same as 700?
Yep.
I think
Uncanny
so.
700 or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah.
The legacy.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I felt about the Phoenix Jean Grey's Whitney Houston moment where she's every mutant instead of every woman. I thought that was a little. I couldn't stop hearing it as soon as she said "I'm every mutant." I just heard it in my head the rest of the issue.
Yeah.
That felt a little, I guess, hokey is the word, but it almost felt very Dragon Ball Z at the same time. It was like
It's the end of Dark Crisis.
true, yeah. So like it felt hokey, but it felt comic booky. So I didn't hate it. And the way, who's the artist on this one again? Sorry, I have it up.
Vecchio.
Vecchio does a very good Art Adams version of Phoenix. The way the black is kind of covering most of her facial features to make her seem more cosmic. I thought that was gorgeous. And those pages with Phoenix, specifically the ones where it's like a spider web, and you can see those instances of Phoenix's history that Sinister is trying to change a little bit. I thought it was really well done artistically. I'm not sure I really agree with the Phoenix being this now pet for Jean, almost like a Disney princess sidekick, and it guiding her to be the fire that lights the flames of the mutants coming back. It was fine. It's a little much for me, but the Moira stuff kind of felt like we need to wrap up this Moira part. How are we going to do it? And they do. I think the last page of Moira is well done. How we got there was a little
I like the I'm a robot. You can't do a telepathic takeover. It's like,
That's the I was talking about.
yeah. Like, oh, okay. This is happening. I'll second the art. I think there was some cool stuff done with the like panels. It reminded me to some degree of Yannick Paquette when he like intertwines art into the actual borders and the surrounding. And then the pages with the Enigma they're cool. Like the Dominion Enigma, like it's all psychedelic and like almost like a kaleidoscope. Cool, I had fun looking at the pictures. That was neat. But man, to quote Gene here, hold on, where is he? Where is he? We need to stop Gillen. I mean, Enigma, are you willing? It was quite a bit, a little difficult for me to get through.
You had to quote Gene. I'm like, which one? Which quote? That's this whole book.
I didn't hate this overall. I think the concept was really interesting that he goes all the way through Jean's timeline and like the timeline of the planet and then the universe, and she follows him and unties all the knots that he tries to make. I thought that was pretty interesting. And if it had just been that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, uh the I'm every mutant, and then just the wet fart of a conversation on the park bench, man. Like that deserves
Yeah.
so much more. This whole era was built on that.
It at least
He's just like, I
deserved the
knew it.
artist, you know?
All right. So I I mostly enjoyed this. And that is frustrating to me because I feel like there's just so many things that could have been done to make this end better. Um and by this end I mean, you know, X-Men Forever and the last few issues we've gotten of this book. I'm not even going to discuss the Jerry Duggan book. I'm not even talking about that. I'm only talking about Gillen because Kieran Gillen all throughout Immortal up until Sins of Sinister, you can fucking track it. Go back and look.
Yep.
Up until that arc started, Immortal was my favorite book on the stands, pretty much.
Yep.
The quality was super high. And it just became another beast once Sinister became the main character. And I don't frankly think that the line ever recovered from that. I think it was a genuinely awful choice. And I you know, I understand that writers have their pet characters and stuff, but Sinister was just overused. Seeing him lose here was nice, I guess, but because it doesn't feel like Sinister Prime, it's just like it's a Sinister, and I don't care about this Sinister at all. So really, I was focused on seeing Jean win, which of course is always going to be good to me. I love to see Jean Grey get a W. And also the costume. Finally, we get to see her in the Phoenix fit, which is my favorite Jean Grey costume. She just looks amazing. And I also like cosmic battles in Marvel, where you're talking about entities whose fighting style or physical stature is not representable. Like they always talk about that with the Beyonder and certain characters who create a physical form to interact in our world, but really what's actually happening is not something that we can see. It's not discernible to our eyes. And I think they did a decent job of representing that. It probably could have been done a little bit better, but like for example, the tiny phoenix that we see with Jean to me is just showcasing that. That's not the phoenix. That's the manifestation that the phoenix entity is capable of doing right now, but the actual phoenix exists outside of all this. So I like that. You know, and the I'm every mutant thing, like I feel like it's a bit played, but okay, whatever. Sure, why not? Who cares? You know, somehow, some way they had to figure out a way for her to win, and this is the way to get all mutants to let them get their hands on Sinister. And if you look at that, the last page of that combat, there are some pretty cool cameos. One in particular I wanted to call out is Jimmy Hudson, the son of Wolverine from the Ultimate Universe, who got transplanted into 616, who we have not seen at all, hide nor hair of, but he's right there on Front Street. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Blonde Wolverine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's right underneath Kitty, right?
Yeah, he's yeah. It's Jean and then him right above her. So
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
kind of cool. And then you guys talked about the Moira Xavier conversation. I like that too. I feel like this story with them went off the rails. You know, I think we probably all sort of feel like that. But ultimately, the point of Moira was this is a person who just wants to live, who just wants to live a normal, happy, peaceful life, who cannot do that because she is cursed with this mutant gift. And that's the quintessential mutant story in a lot of ways. You know, these people don't get a choice. They're forced. But what if you had a choice? What if you could reject it? What if you could live again and try to figure out a way to make this not happen to you? All she wants is to live. And that's sympathetic. That's something you can sympathize with. I just think the writers haven't cared to get into that, and they decided to make her into a mustache swirling villain, which doesn't fit the character at all. And there was no part of her that seemed to be like that prior to X Lives and X Deaths.
Hmm. Yeah, because she was kind of just like kept in the background under wraps, and we didn't know where that was going.
Well, she had a legitimate anger.
Sure.
She presented Professor Xavier with an idea. He brought in Magneto. These two fuckers took that idea, ran with it all the way, and kind of kept her out of the equation. And they did things that she didn't want done, and they didn't hold it down in the way they needed to. And they paid a price. So she should be able to say, I told you guys.
Yep.
I told you, and you didn't listen. That's why this is happening. That's why I'm with Orcus. Because you didn't listen. So suffer. But at the same time, if all she wanted was to live a normal life, and she got that by becoming a cyborg, what the hell did she involve herself in all the rest of this shit for? She could have just gone to Alaska or Africa.
Yeah.
Or the moon.
Yeah.
It wasn't she the one that came up with the gun that takes away your powers?
Mm-hmm.
She's also the person, one of the people historically who comes up with the cure for mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the reason that Mystique and Destiny and Pyro killed her and told her, we'll kill you ad nauseum in House of X. Because she's the one that comes up with the cure. But the way it ends for her here, where she dies, I loved the way she died.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the end. I don't like how we got there.
And then that stinger where we see that she ends up getting what she wanted. She gets her 11th life. And she's no longer a mutant. And she's just going to die of old age or whatever's going to happen to her. And that's that.
She gets killed by a drunk driver at 14.
I was happy with that.
Yeah, didn't care much for the journey. Like the ending.
Rasputin's living. Shock anybody?
I mean, she's not in any promotional material for anything, but we still got 2 more issues. We still have Duggan's final issue and then X-Men, right?
We already got Duggan's final,
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah.
What did it say at the end?
It's Miss
here?
Marvel, Mutant Menace, and X-Men.
Miss
35.
Marvel, that's what I knew there was something else. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Rasputin lived through this, but clearly there are no plans for her, so I guess it really doesn't matter. She might as well have died. And Professor X here is set up to be Prisoner X, it seems.
There we go.
That's all she wrote.
I'm excited for our, if we ever do like a post-mortem on all this.
If we
If.
are,
Well, I didn't want to
150
spoil
million%
anything
doing
for the listeners. Jeez.
it. We've talked about
Have
it.
we?
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it on screen or off screen.
for-
All right.
We've
For
talked about it on
months.
screen for months. Come on, Tyler.
Okay. All right. I'm excited for that post-mortem because I would love to talk about the winners and losers of this whole Krakoan era.
My wallet is the biggest loser.
Well,
No saving
And I'm going to
that.
show you guys that
The,
fact.
the support beams in Sean's apartments, the biggest loser.
You should see the state of my bags of my comic book long boxes.
have you started collecting the Krakoan era books and like organizing them?
It's gargantuan. It is insane.
How are you organizing it?
Well, right now, what I've been doing is trying to like sift through everything that I have to put the X books aside. and just make sure that I have all of them in one spot. And then I'm going to try to organize them by series, which is going to take me the rest of my life. But I've got nothing else to do, so I might as well. Clearly, I just live for X-Men books.
He gets the House of X #1 and a single teardrop.
Philosopher King makes a good point. He says, her idea worked. That was revealed in Inferno, but Omega Sentinel was sent back in time, Terminator style, to stop the mutants from winning in the future. We needed that Moira X book to flesh out her character more. Her evil turn was poorly handled. Yeah, so we now know that Al Ewing was the person that was supposed to write the Moira X book. He just couldn't find, he couldn't find the through line. He couldn't find the story there. Which tells me that ultimately Hickman is the one who should have done that book, for the simple fact that he's the one that had the big idea for Moira.
And Moira was the key.
Yeah. But I agree. We needed the Moira book, and Moira was right. Moira is she was done dirty. She just was. She was done dirty.
Yep.
And by the way, so was Omega Sentinel, because that what you just said is hot fire. It is. The fact that she was sent from the future to prevent the success of the mutants, that's crazy. And we saw people getting sent back. Wolverine at the end of Powers, if I'm remembering this correctly, he has some type of data that gets sent back in time that the mutants needed. So we've seen them send information back in time and things like that. And so when it was done on the other side, when it was done on the machine side, that was cool as hell. At that point, I didn't think that the ending of all of that would be Moira's an insane robot, and Mr. Sinister is the big bad.
The cosmic level big bad. Yeah.
Great. Jordan White said that that was not the original plan for Mr. Sinister to be the big bad, and that we will probably not find out who that was supposed to be for many, many years.
You can see Sinister was meant to be like a side bit with Hickman, with the whole, whispers and the Red Diamond thing. He was a gossip columnist, really.
Sinister secrets, yeah.
Yeah, Gillen has always had an affection for Sinister. His previous run on X-Men was Sinister focused. So this is the story I guess Gillen wanted to tell, but I would be super curious to figure out who Hickman had plans for.
Yeah, I do think that Hickman had plans for Sinister that were big, because Sinister was the original sin of Krakoa. So I think that he was always going to pay that off in a way that was meaningful. I just don't believe that he would have ended up being the big bad or, stuff like that. Could Sins of Sinister still have happened in a different way under Hickman? Yeah, maybe in a different way. But the chimeras and stuff like that Sinister was working on, all that stuff was set up to be extremely important. This is bittersweet, because I did enjoy this, but I just wish I had enjoyed everything else so much more.
I have trouble even saying a poll on this, even though I generally enjoyed it, because this whole rise of the powers of X has been a mess of a series. None of it connects to each other, besides these last two issues.
And this is the end of an entire era. Don't pull this, you maniac.
Yeah.
I can't disagree. And I'll tell you one thing I'm looking forward to never seeing again after next week is the data pages. This one, I can't find it, but it features a data page that shows the new timeline.
Yep.
Yo, what the fuck do I care about a new timeline? I'm done with this. I don't want to see timelines again in my life.
Yep.
Not to mention, even as a graph, it is unintelligible.
Yeah, how am I even supposed to navigate it? Like it just doesn't. It's not even. They're not intuitive to look at anymore. They don't. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to get out of it. Like stasis timeline plus 10. What does that mean? Orbis timeline plus 15. Who remembers who Orbis is? Orbis Stellaris, one of the various Sinisters. Who cares? Moira lives 1 through 9. Crown, D, Enigma corpse fragments. What does that mean? I've been reading these books for 5 years. I don't know what any of that jargon means. But there's a pull for me.
Pass. I've been down on these for quite a while.
You know what? It's a smooth ending. It's not how I wanted it to go. It's not. It's just barely coherent. We're here. Yeah, you know what? I had a better time than I thought I would. Yeah, okay, pull it.
There you go. There you go. I wonder what we'll see Kieran on next. Think he takes a break from Marvel?
Yeah.
I hope
He's got
goes to Image.
another Image. I
Yeah.
think it's Image book coming out. Power Fantasy, I think it's called.
Something like that. Yeah, that's where I prefer his work, honestly.
Yeah.
This is definitely where, if you're a writer at the big two and you've just come off a long run, you go, okay, now can I parlay this into a big hit elsewhere? No shit. Back to the big two. Like Ewing, for example. He finished Immortal Hulk and then said, okay, let me see if I can parlay. And he went and did We Only Find Them When They're Dead. That got a 15-issue run. Stellar book. Nobody bought it. And so he's back. We'll see about Kieran Gillen.
I mean, he left Young Avengers and Wictive blew up. And I have to imagine probably the only reason he came back for X-Men was because Hickman asked him.
Hopefully, if he gets another thing, it's a title like Eternals where he can flex a bit more of the muscle that I think he's capable of. This felt like he got maybe a little pigeonholed in Cleanup Crew, and he kind of lost his way.
Like the two things before this that Gillen did were it was Die, which I loved.
Yeah.
And Cale, do you remember the Arthurian book that he was doing from Boom? Dan Mora was on it.
Once in Future,
which was phenomenal. That book, highly recommend that book. Is it Boom? It might be IDW. It's not Image though.
I think it's Boom. Yeah, it's Boom.
Big recommend that one. So I'm excited to see Gillen do non-mutant stuff for sure.
Let's hit some comments. Joe asks, what character benefited the most from the Krakoan era and is now a top character that was not before? Look, we're going to talk a lot more about those kind of things when we do our post-mortem. But Joe, I like you, so I will give you an answer, and the answer is nobody.
Damn.
Interesting. Okay.
Joe also says, how many long boxes do I have and how do I know when I have a problem? I have
a problem.
Yeah.
The first step is admitting it.
I have, I think, 13 or 14 long boxes that are full of comics. And then I have a few thousand comics that are not in any long box. So I probably require 20 some odd long boxes.
A storage space.
You're definitely raw dogging a lot of comics right now. Are those long boxes bagged and boarded? Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot. And I do indeed have a problem. Philosopher King says Hickman's were so concise and efficient. I genuinely enjoyed them. Every time I read one, I immediately regret it. In reference to the data pages. Yeah. Yeah, they got really frustrating. Those sinister secrets had us by the throat.
Yeah.
They were so
Every
fun.
single issue.
Yeah.
Right, we'd stay there like sussing out a page. Okay, this is
Yeah.
reference to this. Oh, but this character.
Yep. It was
Lots of
fun. It's fun and fresh. Promiscuous Time Traveler says, I can't even lift long boxes anymore without hurting myself. Those fuckers are heavy, man. It's true.
Comics are heavy, dude.
Let's talk about the listener poll winner, Avengers Twilight, Book 6. You guys voted for this to appear on Pal's Polls. You wanted us to talk about the ending of this arc, this run. This is by Chip Zdarsky on the words, with art by Daniel Acuna. Letters by Corey Pettit. So this is it. This is the finale. The Avengers have assembled. You know, we've got our modern day, which this takes place in the future, so modern for this time period. We've got our modern day Avengers that consists of Cap, you know, Miss Marvel, a new Hawkeye, Thor's in the mix, the new Iron Man. So it's pretty cool. And, you know, we get some really cool fights. The Hulk and Thor going at it at the very end of everything. I like that a lot. The return of the Wasp. I don't even understand how the fuck that happened. I have no clue what that was at all. But she was here, and I was very happy. Wasp is the most, I don't want to even hear a conversation about this. Wasp is the most underrated and underappreciated Avenger ever.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And
Sure.
her, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I'm just saying sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with that immediately.
And her being able to be a part of this, it was perfect. I love the Wasp. But this is a Cap story, ultimately. And his battle with the Red Skull is really the heart and soul of this. And he beats him in a way that I think feels apropos. It's probably happened before at some point or another. But he beats him by convincing the rest of the world what he already knows, which is that the Red Skull is a piece of garbage who does not care about people. He doesn't care about the well-being of others. He only wants to control. And he exposes the Red Skull for those things. And from that point forward, he really has no more power left. And that's that. And the Avengers take him down in Avengers fashion, which I love to see. It was awesome.
I think it was a really well crafted issue. I could see the machinations, and I think, you know, maybe by design, you see where all the players end up. You see how the relationships kind of end. Enough so of, you know, I've seen this story, and so it did, but it didn't take away from the what someone can get out of the book. Like, this could be somebody's first time and they're, you know, having a blast. And you called it out earlier, that fight between Hulk and Thor, so cool, right? I was expecting a kill at the end, just to, like, out of sympathy, and I guess, you know, the drowning but I expected something a little more bombastic. I think that was there were certain interactions where I expected a little more, maybe something different, but that's not a bad thing, right? Those are my expectations compared to what the book presented. Did a good job. And fun.
This was my pick of the week, I think. It was nice to read, like, just an Avengers story. I know Sean said it's really a Cap story, but it's still an Avengers story at the same time. You know, you got the whole Tony stuff. You got, you know, Thor having to come to terms with being an Avenger where he gets to outlive all of them. There are bits there. Other than Miss Marvel stuff, had a nice little clean ending too, with a Hawkeye / Bullseye at the end. I thought this was like just a solid Marvel comic, really. And I'm a huge Acuna fan. The way he draws that you know, Iron Man suited Red Skull, I thought was great. The Marco called it out, but the bit that really jumped out to me, quite literally, was Thor and Hulk's fight, and as they were bouncing from fighting, they were changing states
Yeah.
just from like the bounces, like you were skidding a rock on like some water or something. I thought it was great, and the whole how it was restrained at the end, without it being a big blowout. It was just Thor putting Mjolnir on Hulk's chest, and he can't get up, and he drowns. Like, it is very Marvel, but also from a writer's perspective, a restrained choice. Because you could have had them, blow up a whole city or fight, but instead it's a quiet ending to a not so quiet character. I thought this is really good. Like, I would kill to see Zdarsky take Avengers over proper, honestly. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this.
I thought that was supposed to be merciful. Thor
Yeah.
getting rid of the Hulk that way. I mean, they've known each other, this is in the future. I'm not sure how far into it, but like decades. So he's not gonna kick his ass in that way. He's gonna, put him down if that's what has to happen, but he's gonna do it in a merciful fashion. And I appreciated that a lot. This was my pick of the week as well. And Avengers Twilight as a series, I was really concerned about, but it ended up being really, really great, I think.
Hmm.
I have so loved it.
And it's kind of, I know this was like a reaction to the post-Trump presidency that Zdarsky mentioned because of when it was written, but it is kind of timeless, which is kind of scary to say. But this could be a story that anyone can read at any point. I think this is just a solid trade to get as well.
Yeah, this is a good gift. Hey, this is a little bit, it's still Avengers, but it's still not in mainline, so you don't need the baggage or the history. Check it out. And you know what? I think this is pick of the week as well. I saw where it was going, but it was a good book all around, and ultimately I had fun with it.
Bill, where you at on this one?
Oh, don't come looking at me for a pick of the week. I've been out of this series since issue 1. This just didn't do anything for me. I'm not an Acuna fan, so I can certainly appreciate the art. I think it's very funny that the best way to put the Hulk in the future is to make him bald and put some lights on him. I thought that was hilarious.
He had fleshlights, like in his flesh.
Yeah. I think I've missed the past 2 issues of this. So I was also just like, I came in at the tail end of the fight or whatever. And it's one of those where it's like, I felt like I knew what was going to happen. But I also didn't feel like anything felt particularly revolutionary. Like I don't feel like I need to go back either. And then the Wasp stuff, like that felt like it came out of left field. With the the Mandarin ring, that makes sense. He's an Iron Man guy. Where did the Wasp come from?
I read that she was in the quantum realm in the ring.
Yeah, like
Sure.
in like a little compartment.
Okay, cool.
Always watching.
Just
Doing
didn't.
what?
Yo, hope he's not a lefty, huh?
Yeah, just this is a pass for me.
I really like the way it ended. I like that they took some time to show, what's next for these characters. I love whenever we get to see Janet in a non-superhero costume. Like she's a fashion designer and a fashionista, so getting
So she
to
wore
see her.
that coat.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love when artists recognize that and they get to draw her with actual fashion.
Yeah.
Definitely. And these characters have a long storied history. So seeing them have these conversations between each other, I really loved. And the very, very end where we see that Tony and Bruce ended up in Valhalla. I really liked that. That was awesome.
Yo, I thought that was Mysterio. I was so confused. And
Yeah.
somebody brought it up in chat. Joe. Why are they hanging out? Why is this a moment?
Yeah, they probably could have done a better job of showing that that was not Mysterio, or at least thought that he would look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also the last actual page where sort of the new Avengers kind of form in a way, where it's Miss Marvel, the new Hawkeye, the new Iron Man. It kind of gives you I don't see them continuing this, but it gives you the idea that the Avengers are forever, and that there will always be people who are willing to step up and be heroes, because that's what the world necessitates. And I think whatever the world necessitates, the world also creates. So the legacy of the Avengers is that they will be the protectors of Earth forever. And I love that. I love it. It was understated, but I think it was impactful.
Hmm.
It does simultaneously caps off the story. It's a thesis on the Avengers, and also like you don't really need to continue that story. You can if you wanted to, but you don't need to. It's a fine ending there as well.
Yeah, I think it's better left alone. It kind of not that I'm comparing them from a quality standpoint, but it reminds me of The Dark Knight Returns or Kingdom Come, where they really function as just their own thing, and then when you try to expand it, it doesn't work as well.
Sure.
But I'm very happy with what we got. To me, this was some of the best Acuna of all time, maybe the best across these 6 issues. I am so happy with the work that he did here. You know, his Miss Marvel, his modern Miss Marvel design was awesome. His Hulk was really cool. I love the Red Skull as well that he designed.
Hmm.
The design for Thor I thought was great, kind of incorporating Odin elements to the costume.
Hmm. Yeah. The only criticism that I have is that I don't think the book makes a strong enough statement about what the Avengers mean to the world, or how far the world fell, and why that happened. Because I like, if you take the comparison to Donald Trump, for example, which I don't really want to linger on that, but if you just take that comparison and you say Donald Trump and the Red Skull, well, if you think the world went to shit or things got bad because of Donald Trump, you're absolutely wrong. In the same way that the world didn't go to shit because of the Red Skull, it went to shit because people's hearts were open to negative things. And that person just capitalizes on what is already there. And the book doesn't linger on that point or make any thoughtful statement, in my opinion, about that. And I really, really wish that it had.
Fair, yeah. I think that makes it a more poignant story. Um, but I don't think that's necessitates but especially if that's what it's steeped in, right? And that's what he's saying it is. Then maybe show your hand a little bit. Give me an opinion.
Are you guys advocating for more politics in comics?
Whoa, I just said keep him out.
Keep them out. Who are we talking about?
Well, and I wonder how much this might have changed since then.
I got the impression from Tyler's interview with him from New York Comic Con 2023 that he had handed in the scripts and was done with it.
Mm,
That he handed them in like a long time ago.
yeah.
He seemed surprised that the announcement happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Pick of the week for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I definitely can see myself rereading this collected down the road.
Nice. Double dipping?
Yeah, that is entirely possible.
You get a good cover on the hardcover, I might do it too.
Sure.
Not me.
You're a pass.
Yep.
Damn.
How much Zdarsky had?
Just not an Acuna guy.
Not everybody bats 100, you know?
What if Acuna drew
Yo.
Jubilee?
Written by Scott Lobdell. That's a recipe to light myself on fire.
Cale will turn into the Red Skull.
Yep. 'Cause I'll
All that
rip my own face off right on camera.
all that pink skin just turns red, and then it's
Yeah.
Which
And we've seen it happen.
I was gonna say, yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen that. Let's see. Dan says, I'm genuinely curious how I'll like this when I read it. Dan, I can see you liking it, although I try not to tell people what they'll like, but I don't see why not. Heroic Age says, big Zdarsky fan, but very cold on this series, feeling similar to Cale. Why? Why are you cold on it? Aaron Ruiz, is this Zdarsky attempting to create a new imprint, kind of like with Life Story? I think if there was any plan to do something larger with this, then this probably would have come out a lot longer ago. Zdarsky's not really doing, correct me if I'm wrong, he's not doing anything at Marvel right now, so
Not currently.
yeah, I don't foresee them going back to this, at least not with Zdarsky. Joe said, I really think this story spoke about how things could have been going from our freedom being challenged during COVID and how people can cancel you. I don't know. I don't know if this is a story about cancel culture or anything like that. I really feel like it's a story about society going to shit and people focusing more on security than freedom and what that can bring about if you're operating from a place of fear. Generally speaking, you seek security when you're scared, and that opens a door for a dictator or someone with bad intentions to play off of your fear to change you or the world. Look at Nazi Germany, right? Like we have myriad examples of that in the world. This is a comic that's just reflecting that phenomenon.
Yeah, Red Skull talks about being able to use that fear to turn the American flag into a symbol of fascism.
Yeah. What happens if you succumb to it?
Yeah. This was the listener pick this week. So 3 out of 4 of us chose this as our pick of the week. So that means that you guys did a pretty good job. Thank you. Thank you for delivering on that front. We've got the poll up now. The listener pick poll for next week is up. And I just wanted to run it through with you guys and see where the voting stands. Make sure you guys do go vote. YouTube.com/thecomicspals under the community tab. So we have Wolverine Blood Hunt #1 sitting at a lowly 9%. You guys do not care about these tie-ins. Amazing Spider-Man #51. Wanted to see if you guys are curious to continue on with the story of Peter now that we've gotten through issue 50. As of now, it doesn't seem like you want that, 22%. And a tie at the current moment, at least as far as my screen is concerned. We've got a tie between Space Ghost #2 and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha #1.
Not no more. Your boy just voted 36% on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the lead.
What is that? What is Alpha?
I don't know, but I want to read some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, so I don't actually even know what that is. Yeah, I don't even know. I figured it was the start of the Aaron stuff.
It's a sneak peek
looks
to the
like it
start
is,
of
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's a sneak peek to the start. It's Burnham and Aaron.
Yeah, so there you go.
That alone, I don't care what it is. That's a good enough team.
Yeah, that is the start of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a prelude to TMNT #1.
Yeah. And I want to see what they're going to do with the Turtles. I've been looking for a jumping on point for a long time. And so a new #1 seems as good a place as any, and if I love it, I'll work my way back.
Oh, Gavin Smith's doing a story in it too.
Yeah,
Good for him.
he's the current artist on it.
Doing the backup for Old Hob.
Nice. So yeah, make sure you guys get your vote on. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/the comics pals under the community tab and cast your vote. And also, we're talking about, good voting practices, right? We are asking for nominations for X-Men month, the X-Men book club that we're going to be doing. And I have seen Ten of Swords nominated.
Ah.
I have seen Onslaught nominated.
Let's go.
Multiple times.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
They want to
You know
have
what?
fun, Sean.
You baited
Ten
it,
of
Sean.
Swords. Ten of Swords surprises me more than Onslaught.
Yeah,
That's a deep cut. Someone's a real hater.
I'd rather read Ten of Swords than Onslaught.
How
Yeah.
wrong you are.
It's less reading.
I would rather redo the House and Powers book club than do Onslaught or Ten of Swords. So make sure you guys get your nominations in. And for the love of God, 1 nom per person, and don't make it a joke. Let's have a real poll, please. I want to read something great. Let's kick the summer off right with the X-Men. Please, please, please.
Because Marvel ain't gonna do it for us.
I don't know.
Aaron Ruiz is saying Ten of Swords so that you can unwrap your omnibus.
Yo, it's still in plastic. It's actually still in plastic. I don't want to bust that out.
You might be able to use that as a doorstop someday.
Is that the first appearance of those Apocalypse disciples? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it'll be worth something. I'm trying to speculate or this if you keep it wrapped.
I don't even live my life like that.
You might be able to put it as like the cornerstone of the house you'll never have.
The
'Cause
starting
you're a
brick.
millennial, not that's all I mean.
None of us will.
Dude, no, I'm gonna use it as a fucking weapon.
Well, sure.
For whoever votes for Onslaught.
Damn,
So-
lots of hate,
so,
lots of hate.
So Marco, watch out.
sipping that haterade.
Dan said if someone breaks into Sean's apartment, he has a weapon to fight them off. Exactly. And I have quite a few. But I don't want to use them all. Like I'm not going to use, for example, Jeff Johns Green Lantern omnibus to bash somebody.
No.
I'm not going to use
Not first.
No. I wouldn't use Grant Morrison's all 3 absolutes that I have from their run on Batman. I wouldn't go to that. I would go to Ten of Swords.
Well, and it's plastic wrapped and everything, so you'd at least get 2 uses out of it.
Yeah.
And plus, once all the blood's on it, he just unwraps it, and then it's like nothing ever happened. Easy disposal of the evidence.
There you go. All right, let's exit Marvel Land and dive into the last book for the night, The Six Fingers, number 4. This is Dan Waters on the words, Sumit Kumar on the art, colors by Lee Lowridge, and letters by Aditya Bidikar. Now, this issue really did not work for me. Like,
I'm with you.
Maybe not even at all.
Mm-hmm.
I felt lost immediately.
Okay, good.
It literally felt like we missed an issue. I had to try to get my bearings as far as what was even happening. Even just to come here and explain it right now, it's like what happened? This was a very strange issue, and especially to be the penultimate issue, comparing it to the One Hand number 4, which was one of the best singular issues I've read all year. This was, I don't even know.
I literally thought I missed an issue getting into this.
Same.
It wasn't until he explained himself to the tattooed woman that I was like, oh, I didn't miss anything. He's just explaining it now, and it just felt weirdly paced.
Yeah, super confused as to what was going on, why. Um, it did. It just didn't feel like there was a connect. And I think also because sometimes it's kind of ping ponged between issues. So I was trying to think back to what happened in the one hand too, to be like, okay, is this picking up something off of that? Because I remember the number 3 into 4 of six hand to the six fingers to one hand, like we're right there back to back, and no idea what was happening.
Well, this still happened simultaneously because doesn't Ari arrest what's her face in number 4 of the one hand? Like he meets up with her. So assuming this is what's happening when Ari's there.
No, this would have been. I took it as they hooked up. Then he left. Johannes left, and he got to her. They had a talk, whatever, and then the police came and arrested her. That was happening sort of concurrently with number 4. Because he gets to her first. Because he remember he like traces the steps back, and he's able to find out that there's
Marco, you're gonna have to start using some names.
Ari, Ari's able to trace it back because he starts to find there's no bits of like electricity, or the cameras go out, and he follows that, ends up at her place, but that's past this already. This happens prior.
Dude, I
I
don't
glazed-
want to have to do this level of work to read a comic
Yeah,
book. I'm
I glazed
sorry,
over
like,
you talking about that.
yeah, I don't even know what you're saying. I don't know what Dan Waters was saying. I don't know what is happening. Like I've been feeling not that enthused about this series for a couple of issues. And I think it's because of stuff like this. Like there's
The
a
six
rant.
fingers
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah. There's a random flashback to some, war from the
Mhm.
past that Johans is flashing back to, which I don't even know why we saw that. And even if I did know, like, who fucking cares? This is the second to last issue. Can we get to it?
Was that just there to explain the arrowhead that he found? Because that's an archaeologist. Is that to explain that he's actually a cog and they live these multiple lives constantly back and forth? And then they're only now seeing that they're cogs in the machine?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That
I think he's a human.
right. Yes, I think that's been confirmed. He's a human, but somehow
Well,
is able to read or understand the cog language.
Yeah, I think geez, why did I think that? There it may have been the dream. There was something in this that it may have been maybe it was the connection from the dream, like this connection to the past that is the, Waters telling us he's human.
I actually read that as the opposite, as he can see these past lives because the cogs constantly are rebooted and reused and have different lives.
Well, but they wouldn't have been back then.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
I think he was looking back into people who are able to access this kind of unspoken or unknown language, and that's what he was accessing. He was accessing some kind of ancestor, the same way that what was the other dude? That was the prisoner.
Odell.
Odell was a cog or a human?
He's a cog.
I'm getting confused now.
Who
But he-
knows? Like I feel like the fact that we're asking basic questions like that at this point speaks to the lack of clarity. And I don't think that just because a book is noir, just because a book has mystery, doesn't mean that you can't provide answers in a way that allows everybody to understand what is happening. And hey, maybe I'm too dumb. Maybe Waters is just working on levels that I'm not even getting. But look, I need propulsion and I need things to make sense. I don't feel like the one hand issue 4 provided answers for much of anything. It wasn't about answers. It was just about getting us to the place where we're going to conclude this story.
Yeah,
You
I
can
didn't like that.
provide questions that are still enjoyable just as questions that don't sacrifice the plot. Like the Blade Runner is the one I always run to. Like is Deckard a replicant? Is always the question that comes up. And they never answer the question, but that's fine. They don't need to. The fact that the question exists is its own thing. You still get a full story otherwise. I feel like the One Hand is doing a better job at something like that than Six Fingers.
Yeah, I completely agree. The questions that I still have as it relates to this book are frustrating, but I would be able to overlook them because, or rather, if the stuff that was a little bit more sticky was knocking me off my socks. But it feels like the only thing this book is about are the questions, but it's not answering the questions. Like,
Unless issue 5 is going to be just a Q&A issue.
and that's what I feel like what's left to do. I don't want that. Like, I want my answers, but I want my answers with my story. I want my answers with my entertainment.
What about a data page? Would that work here?
I think
Be
that's
about
the solution.
be about as understandable.
Yeah, I think sometimes you really just need something to be concrete. Genuine question. What do we know now for sure that we, from this series only, that we didn't know when it started?
We know that I forget her name, the sex worker cog that became a factory worker. We know the cogs are gaining sentience in a way to recognize that they are cyclical. That we've gained. Otherwise, there's still a lot of questions.
We also know that the alphabet, the cipher, wasn't complete and won't be complete until Johann does this next bit of murder, I guess.
I started to question that the worker, that the woman was even a cog. I thought that they've found a way to almost make people into those, because Johann's a human who can read this thing, and she asks him back, like, do you know what you are? I took that as, actually, we've thought all along she was a cog, and she got replicated, like they messed up her brain or whatever, or it was, but really she's been a human all this time, and now they've gotten the ability, or there's some sort of way to reset humans.
I think you're kind of right. I think they're all cogs, and they all have this idea of ancestry because they were created by humans, and they're trying to recreate human things. So that's why they create the whole human versus cog dynamic, because that is latent in humanity to have opposition. And they're always constantly recycling, and everyone is part of this machine.
That is the angle that makes the most sense to me at this point. And I've thought for a while that we were looking at a place where most, if not everybody, was a cog. Okay, cool. What's up with the need for murder? How is that activating this system? Like, it's just there's so many things we still don't know.
I think, I think that's some kind of commentary on the need or an expression of violence in art, and which is why the art woman is there. Like, there's something there to tying to the human experience that is trying to be captured, and it's through the creation and or the development of art, be it the the what is it called, the arrowhead, which, sure, it's weapon, it's practical, right, but isn't it manufacturing it as some kind of creation from human hands and of human expression, and you take that all the way to now we're in a gallery where there's just bodies and there's blood, and it's similarly an expression of humanity through the means of violence.
Yeah, yeah. Violence is part of humanity.
Right, right.
And
And
if you're trying to replicate humanity in a certain way, it's got to include violence. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all in a simulation. I know, which would be the most Matrix ending possible to this thing. But if this is all code and they're code, what if they're just data? And this is all simulation of running humanity.
God, that would be disappointing.
I don't even know
Yeah.
how they would reveal that and make that satisfying.
Yeah, because that's where that is the Matrix, you know,
Too
like from the
derivative.
jump.
Mhm.
That's not really a mystery there. I don't like if that's where this is going to end up and then it just ends. Okay, whatever. That
Yeah.
just doesn't feel satisfying to me.
Yeah.
Uh Man, I want to pass. Like the art is good. Submit is very talented. I want to see a lot more from Submit after this book. But I just feel like he wasn't even really in this particular issue given all that much to do. We've spent time talking about some of the beauty of this particular series on prior reviews, because there were interesting layouts and cool things happening on the pages. That's not really the case here. And so while what we get is very good looking and I appreciate it, there's just not a lot of room to do too many things that were beyond, serviceable.
Who's the artist on the one hand?
Campbell, I think. No,
Aaron Campbell. Yeah.
Elo Ridge?
That's
Lowridge is
Oh.
on this as colorist.
Lawrence Campbell.
Lawrence Campbell, there you go. Yeah,
Lawrence Campbell, and he's doing buck wild stuff in that.
for sure. That just feels like the superior book. It just feels like the book that has more of an understanding of what it is and what its point is and what it needs to get across. And it just feels like it has a mission statement that Rom has been able to stick to across 4 issues to this point and deliver pretty much every time. Whereas this one is a little bit more esoteric, but not in a way that for me is overly compelling, at least for the last 2 issues.
I'm still on board. I didn't have anywhere near the problems you guys did with this. Like I don't disagree wholly, but I'm still in. Like, I'm still excited about it. I'm still raring to go for this series. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, this is it's still a pull. I want to see where this ends. It's been a great ride. I think to your point, Sean, this has been an up and down book, but considering it's paired or should be paired with the one hand, I love it, man. That if anything, that is elevating this book. This book is not bringing that one down.
Cale, what did you think of the one hand number 4?
Don't remember. I think I was very into it.
Okay. So then that would have broken our streak of being on opposite ends on each of these books.
Oh yeah, it certainly hasn't happened on each one, but generally, if one of us feels very strongly, the other feels the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, where do you land on it?
I still like the one hand more. I'm just really curious to how this gets collected in trade. I don't think it's bad. I think this is still good comics, but this issue didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if this just I wonder if this maybe was the shorter series. Like maybe this one didn't need 5.
You can't do it though. That's the gimmick.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, so they had to toss in an extra issue and pad some stuff out, maybe. I could be completely off with that, but
It could end great. We're gonna see next month how things wrap up. I'm very much looking forward to the one hand 5, and hopefully this sticks the landing as well. This has been an experiment that I would say largely has been interesting and compelling, but whether or not it's a success ultimately relies on the ending, and we'll find out soon.
Bro, Rom's gonna land that fighter jet.
I think so. Chris Usler joining us. So glad I'm able to finally catch you guys live. Well, thank you for hanging out with us, dude. A patron of ours, actually, that I've never seen in a chat before. So good to see you. Corin Kaiser Stone, sup dudes? What's up right back at you, man? Atomic Hound finally joining us. Glad to see you. We're able to make it. He says, X-Men month. Can it be anything other than Hoxpox and a retrospective of what could have been? Can it be anything other than that? Yeah, I mean, I think
you're getting the retrospective whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's a definite. We're definitely going to do that, but we're going to do other things too. I really want to do an X-Men ranking. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Every mutant. 8-hour stream.
We'd have to cap it somehow.
Charity or something.
Oh,
that would be cool.
Gold Balls S tier.
Egg.
Yeah, right. Egg. Ugh. Dan says, can you read this and the one hand separately without feeling like you're missing something? I think I've asked this before. I think maybe you could read the one hand by itself, maybe, but I think the 6 fingers necessitates that you're reading the one hand.
Yeah.
Because I've read both of them, I don't know if I can answer that. Like it, because it's so ingrained in me.
But I think one has more of a narrative through line.
Sure,
individual
that's fair.
like this issue is so awry, as opposed to last issue that you could have consumed. I feel like by itself, it didn't need the other one, even though one led into it.
Yeah. Izzy says this may be the first week since I've started watching that I pass on every single book.
Damn.
Ooh, really?
What are you reading?
Damn.
Not these books, apparently.
Yeah, nothing we are.
Fair enough. We've got more show to do, so don't go anywhere. Just because we're done with reviews doesn't mean we are done chatting and hanging with you guys. Make sure you Hulk smash that like button. If you're enjoying what we're doing, if you're having a good time, make sure you smash that like button. Now, I have been trying to figure out how to present the Krakoan stack, the Stakoa, to you all. X-Men 35 drops next week. And so I'm wondering if next week is the day, because at that point, I will have every Krakoan era book that I'm going to have. And that'll be all.
I say you get the long box, right? And you stack them on top of each other. And then you stand next to it and you see how many Seans did the Krakoan era take. Is it 2? Is it 3?
No.
I don't think that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
I think it's an event. I think it's a main show. Look, I love Pals Plus.
I agree.
But that's what the people have been waiting for. It's I would even argue maybe say that for 400.
Oh.
Like that's an event.
Okay.
Like we're doing the stream and most of it is just him kind of going like, yeah, so we've been talking about blah 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 blah, yeah, and okay, here's the next one.
Oh, you want him to go through every single issue?
No, I'm not doing that. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
There's hundreds. Literally, there have to be. It's way, way, way too many comics.
Wolverine by itself was 50, so
Yeah. Not that I have all 50 of that. Like I'm not saying that I own every single issue of the Krakoan era, but what I am saying is that I own probably 90 to 95% of everything that they put out. So whatever that maths to, that's what I got, and it's gonna be insane. I kind of like what Cale's saying. I think it makes sense to present that on the main show.
did you try
with you.
and keep a number as you go, as you're organizing, you're going through,
Yeah.
so we do have that?
Yeah, I would like to be able to present a firm number.
Yeah.
I've even been going and trying to pick out my favorite covers, like the real standout covers, and I think we should probably all do that. But I've been going through my books and saying, "Oh, that's a cover I got to take a picture of and use later," because there were some amazing covers throughout the Krakoan era. Beautiful.
Damn. Yo, Sean, your newsletter that week is gonna be fire.
Those U covers were good early on X-Men series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes,
Damn.
dude. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, we ain't good for a while there.
Yeah. Up to I mean, up to Inferno, like, there were even bits of Ten of Swords that, was pretty interesting.
Wolverine stuff was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Apocalypse's family.
Yeah, that's right. Yup.
Heroic Age asks, have you guys talked about weapon extraction yet? Running as a backup through 8 titles. Who is this for? We haven't talked about that. But yeah, it's going to be in a little event that's going to run in the back of a few different series, and that kind of stuff I tend to avoid if I can. I mean, it's going to intersect with books that I am actually reading, but I don't know that I'm going to seek out any books that I'm not reading just to be connected to that, because I certainly don't care.
It's an event.
Like a little mini event. Yeah.
It's a Wolverine Deadpool story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No thanks.
Mm-hmm. K Manifesto says you could do it in parts. Oh, dude, if you could see how many books I have that are in that stack, and what I have right now doesn't even represent all of the Krakoan stack. It's gonna, like, I want to do this and then figure out what to do with these books. Like,
How to get rid of them.
yeah, I want to do it and then like put them in the vault. And I'm not just going to show the floppies. I'm going to show the hardcovers that I have too.
I think you should light it on fire. Just do
The
like
hell? I'd sooner light you on fire.
just like a phoenix ending to it, just like they did in the Krakoan end.
An
No.
effigy.
No.
And then
I
Yo,
love
give it
those
to me.
books.
You could-
I'll cut it up.
You could
I'll
smoke
do
it
collage
afterwards,
art.
maybe.
You guys are sick. You guys are sick. Burning books, ripping books up. What kind of shit is this?
Tune into my newsletter.
Marco, pro burning books.
no,
You're the one that said it.
At least
I don't know.
Marco's
I
trying to
don't-
make art.
There's no proof of that.
Philosopher King says, see if anyone can guess how many issues Sean has in this Takoa. Oh my god.
We definitely have to do that. I just want the firm number to be revealed.
Oh, dude.
That'll be fun.
I mean, people
Whoever
like-
can get that right, I'm gonna have to give that person something real nice.
An X of Swords omnibus.
Dude, yeah. Do I have 2 of those? I have 2 Infernos.
You have 2,
Yeah.
2 Infernos, yeah.
Yeah. I had did I have 2 10? No, 10 of Swords I bought in advance
Yeah, you did.
Early.
because I was
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
confident.
yeah.
Amazon had a deal. I got that shit for like $30, $40. And I was so confident it was gonna be great. I bought it sight unseen. And I had regrets.
We were like, oh yeah. Tina Howard's on it, but like Hickman will be in the lead, so it'll be fine.
How wrong was I? How wrong were we?
Not
Dan
all.
says Sean's comic book collection looks like that pile of money in the Dark Knight.
You're not far off.
Dude, if I unlongboxed all my books, I'm pretty sure that I could have a pile that I could slide off of. Remember when people were fucking stacking crates during COVID because they were bored and dumb? I
Yeah.
could stack my comics and try to walk on those fuckers.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I only remember because I just saw a video of it last night.
You ever think about opening a comic book store?
When I was a kid, I had a local comic book shop, and I spent a lot of my time there from 11 years old to like 14 or 15 when they closed. Must have been closer to 13 or 14. I never, ever bought one single comic from that comic book shop. Not one.
Yeah.
I loved superheroes, but I just wasn't activated as a comics fan. I went there multiple times a week. I did not think about the comics that they had. But when that store closed, I did become activated, and I desperately wanted. I begged my uncle to buy the shop, which I was a naive kid. I didn't realize how insane that was. But if I had the means, I would absolutely love to do that. I would love to be able to open a shop. Shit.
Okay.
What if we open a shop?
Maybe
The Comics
someday.
House.
Yeah.
Why not?
The Pal Store.
I don't trust myself with that.
The Pallies. The
You
Give
want
me
to keep
2 more.
trying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so far.
We're not giving them a minute. No. I'm
the
cutting it.
Comics Pals comic shop.
This is horrible content, guys.
Okay.
Can we get?
Come on, one more.
Anyway.
You got it.
No, he really doesn't. Rami says, how much have you
please.
paid in estimation for that era? Dude, I don't know.
Thousands.
The common price of comics went up in that era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And there are a whole bunch of $8, $9, $10 specials, few Hellfire galas, giant sized issues. Like it runs the gamut. So I would imagine that the bulk of my money that I've spent on comics over the last 5 years has gone to X-Men.
Thousands, you think?
Yeah, probably.
At least one. At least
Yeah.
1,000. It has to be. We'll be able to figure that out or ballpark it a little bit better when we have the number.
Yeah. Do like a $3, $4 average.
Yeah.
At least the band.
I just want to shout out what Izzy's reading since we called it out earlier. They say, I'm mostly reading Immortal Thor, Radiant Black, and Power Rangers, but picking up something here and there that seems interesting. Fantastic Four, World's Finest, Cobra Commander, etc.
Great
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah.
Great taste.
The Pals Pulls Palladium.
Beep beep beep.
That's pretty good.
I love you guys. I love all the comments we get. You really brighten my day. Let's get into the stack. Let's do it. Now, it's not the Stakoa, although you never know how many books I bought. It could be a mini Stakoa this week. I've seen a lot of people leaving their numbers already, but we can do better than that. Let's get some more guesses in. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get those guesses in. For my stack, this is the question. The question is, how many books did I buy this week? You guess the number. Whoever's closest without going over wins at the very least the game. And if you want to collect a prize, then I can give you the code for any of the Marvel books that we did not read on the show this week.
Well, sort of.
Yeah. So let's get those guesses in.
We've got Dan. That was the first one. Yeah, Dan's in there with 16. Got Rami on 14. Marowak Oscuro with 9.
Buddy.
And then we had a big break. We got 17 from James Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Shane coming in from New Zealand on 12. Philosopher King says 13. Izzy says 17.
Oh, Shane, good to see you, dude. Glad you're here.
It's
Comic Hound with 18.
1 p.m. there now, I think.
Manifesto with 12.
18. Manifesto with 12. Heroic Age says 14.
It's a whole lot of you getting those guesses in. Love to see it.
I'm going to go with 12. This is a 5th week, mind you, so keep that in mind with your guesses.
I was going to go with 14.
Promiscuous Time Traveler with 15. I think I'm gonna play it in the middle. I'm gonna go 13.
Okay. Well, we know about the 5 books that we've read for the show.
Yep.
So that's where we start. We've got Batman Dark Age number 3.
Oh,
Interesting.
I
how you
didn't
picking
quit
it
on
up.
this yet. I enjoyed the first one quite a bit, so I decided to hang in.
Aaron
Didn't-
got in at the last second with 14.
Okay. We've got Detective Comics number 1085. When I was caught up with this, Rom V was
It was
cooking.
good, yeah.
Speaking of Rom V, we have Dawn Runner number 3.
hell yeah.
Evan Cagle on the cover of Detective on the interiors here.
I'm excited to read that one.
Red Sonja number 11.
Is that a cosplay variant?
No.
No, okay.
No. Grommets number 1. This is the book that I was hoping would win the poll because it's a new
Same.
remender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to it yet though. I'm excited to. What else? We have Undiscovered Country number 29.
I didn't
probably
know you were reading
haven't.
that.
I haven't read an issue of Undiscovered Country. Ooh. Let's not even get into that.
Ever?
No. I did. I was into it at first. No, I was into it always. I just stopped reading it because
I'm like
don't know why.
5 issues behind. or something.
Sasquatch issue.
Weren't that into it.
Creature of the Black Lagoon Lives, number 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
Very good.
loving that. World Tree, issue number 10.
still on that one. You and Catherine.
Hey, it's good. It's a good comic. I like it. We have Midnight Suns Blood Hunt number 1. I had to buy this. It's Brian Hill on it, one of our boys. And it's probably good. I got White Boat number 1.
Out.
Oh,
Which is the cost of about 5 issues.
$8.99.
Yikes.
Distillery,
same
right?
price as
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yep.
2,899 bucks.
Now, I actually wavered and waffled on this one. I wasn't going to get it, but I really like Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. I think that, they're both great. Their team up is great. And I'm curious, but I got to tell you guys the truth. I have not read any Distillery books.
No.
Not one. I have several.
How could you?
I don't know what it is, man. And then I can't even put them away. The cashier that rung me up at Midtown was like, "Oh, that's really good, that book." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I wasn't sure if I should get it or not. It's like I don't know how to even put these away. Like, how do I store them?
Yeah.
And then she points me to the fact that they have boards that fit the prestige size of Distillery's books. And that's all cool in the gang. But guess what? My long boxes are a certain size. How the fuck am I supposed to get these in there? It breaks up the whole system.
I got the Francavilla variant.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
You went to the shop this week, Marco?
No, I picked this
Came
up
out last
over the
week.
weekend, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's been out for a little bit.
Last week, I
Has it?
believe.
Fuck. Did I buy this shit twice? Oh my god, dude.
No,
Wait, what do you mean
surely you would have told
twice?
us. It hasn't been out that long.
No, it came out last week
Yeah.
because I went to the
Okay.
shop to get Blood Hunt, Red Band, and they were out, but White Boat was on the table, so it came out last week.
Okay. Woof. That's it.
15.
That's it. 15?
Damn. Missed it by
We
one.
got
Promiscuous time traveler.
just making sure nobody got there
On the money.
first. I think he's a time traveler.
Yeah. Right on.
Wow.
Well, is that fair though? If he can time travel, seems rigged.
Well
Seems rigged.
played.
Nobody it doesn't say in the rules. He could have erased him, but
Hey, if you're using your time travel powers to win the stack game, more power to you.
I would say reevaluate things, but sure.
Because I know good and damn well if I had time travel powers, there's a lot of things I would do differently. But one of those is not doing this show. I love this show.
they are promiscuous, so it is entirely possible that they've already done everything they've wanted to do, and now they're
Mhm.
just here to win.
And they've done everyone they wanted to do as well.
They
Yes, Izzy. Undiscovered Country is still going somehow.
That's funny.
I feel like a lot of the image books just don't know when to end,
If at
Yeah.
all.
if at all.
They got to put those issues out until they can get option for a TV or a movie.
Word. Well, at least once a year, so you can be like, no, it's still active. It's still going on. Still doing the thing.
It's kind of weird, right? Like, why do we feel that way? Why do we why does it feel like Monstrous just shouldn't be a book anymore? Why does it feel like Undiscovered
Oh, I
Country
just-
should have
I-
ended?
I disagree on Monstrous. Monstrous is gorgeous.
It could be
but there's-
gorgeous. A lot of these books are gorgeous. That's not.
There's
know.
just no hype behind it. There's no
Yeah.
conversation happening. And all due respect to them and those creators, but frankly, this is why the big two smash week after week after week. They have the shelf space and people talk about their stuff. Like it or not, like it comes out as a machine.
This feels like a big main topic discussion.
Be
Monstrous is 10 years old.
Yeah.
You know,
So like Saga is still coming out and it took a 3-year hiatus. Who's talking about Saga?
Yeah. It fell off hard, I feel like.
yeah. Dan says it. Look how much things died down with Saga. 100%. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was hyped about the Wicked and the Divine when it came out. And now I look at the trades when I'm at the comic shop and I'm like, I don't know.
Did
Is
you
that
never
still
finish?
happening?
No, it
No,
ended.
No, it ended a
Yeah,
while
it
ago,
ended,
yeah.
but no, I haven't finished it. That's like minimum. That's like a what?
8 trades?
12, but I think it's 9. We'll say average $12 a trade.
I think the only book from that era that I finished was Low by
And it's-
Remender.
And it's not that long.
It's 25 issues, I think.
Yeah,
20,
that's not
25,
bad.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But it was delayed.
I don't remember if Low was. Do you remember that Low was delayed? Marco?
Was it not like
I don't think so.
over the course of years or something?
Delayed over the course of years? Not to my recollection.
No, Low went it got like 50 issues, right? Didn't
No,
Low
Low
get,
didn't
no?
get 50.
No.
Low
I don't
was
remember it
20 to
being delayed,
25. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have in the chat? Philosopher King says winning the Sean Stack game seems like one of the most ethical things to do with time travel. That's reasonable. Looking at that picture that's on screen right now, of me and a stack of comics next to me,
Prophetic.
I'm pretty sure that is what it's gonna look like when I put the Stakoa up. I'm pretty sure that's an accurate representation.
It's to scale mostly.
It's insane. It's insane. Dan says, it's weird. I still haven't finished Deadly Class, and I really enjoy that book. Dude, Deadly Class is one of my favorite series of all time, and I did not finish it.
Yeah, Dan, how you not finishing? It's only one season.
Yeah. Saga's hiatus killed the book. Yeah, 100%. You
Yep.
just can't vanish off the stands for 3 years.
So much momentum lost, especially over such a harsh change in environment and a consequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and world, the world changed in between the time that
Yeah.
that book came out. Like,
Totally.
it completely lost it.
All right. We're going to head on out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for this. Make sure you join us on Saturday, which is the next time we will be live at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We've got a lot of X-Men related stuff to get into. I am excited for X-Men month. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. And yeah, hopefully you guys are into it too. Make sure you get your nomination in for X-Men month book club. There are a lot of ways you can do that, whether be it the Discord, be it the Patreon page, patreon.com/thecomicspals for free, or youtube.com/thecomicspals under the community tab. You may have to scroll down. In fact, you will have to scroll down in order to find the post, but find it and nominate your favorite X book. 1 nom per person, please, for the love of God. And, make it good. Make it the best. Let's make this one of the best book clubs that we have had all year, all time.
What's that in the distance? Onslaught.
It's funny because Marco's trolling, but sometimes I wonder if Marco cares about the quality of the show that we produce.
Are you saying that Onslaught would not produce good quality content?
It didn't when you were reviewing the book on our show. It sucked. I never want to hear your thoughts about Onslaught ever again.
The reverse booklet. Was that the first Marco's minute? Didn't I have like a minute to explain it?
It was too long. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah.
It was too long. It was
As
awful.
a listener at the time, it was both hard to listen to and kind of enjoyable.
As doing the show at the time, it was hard to listen to and not enjoyable. So hopefully we don't have to engage that again. No more Onslaught. No more mutants. No more Onslaught.
Damn, no more mutants out here?
Well, according to Uncaged, we're on a break from mutants.
There
are no breaks here when it comes to mutants. This is a Marvel podcast. Well, it's not a Marvel podcast, but I'm a Marvel head. I'm an X head. We love the X-Men around here. We will see you guys on Saturday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next time, take care, guys.